Let's go.
What comedy did for me, it opened me up to the world.
I loved Marvel and DC, but it wasn't a lot of Black or Latino people in there. They're all white.
Sometimes when people ask me, oh, why did you start to sing? Actually, that chose me. As an artist, I think you have something inside that tells you, oh, you gotta express yourself the way you want to do it. Otherwise, you'll always be unhappy, I think. And so I was tired of being unhappy. Sometimes when people ask me, oh, why did you start, to sing? Like, why did you choose this? I thought about it a lot, and I usually say that actually that chose me. I just sing. It's just something that I do naturally. And if I wasn't doing it as a career or as my job, I would still be singing. I feel emotions in a very deep way when I sing, and that's something that I love. It's addictive. And second, I realize that other people feel things when I sing. And then the third thing about writing my own songs is it's very therapeutic. Is that how you say it? I think the number one reason why I write songs and sing is because it really helped me to figure out things in my life that I didn't want to probably face or talk about. It's easier for me to just write down my emotions, my feelings, and then sing them out, and it's cathartic. And I think everyone should do it, even though they're not singers. I think everyone should sing.
Before I stepped into the world of storytelling, being a stand-up comic, I was a satellite engineer for CBS News. Yes, a satellite engineer. I can read. To be honest, I did like the job. For someone like me, it was something different every day. But then even that being different every day, it became like a routine. But it still wasn't me, because I guess I wanted to be in front of the camera. My wife thought I was depressed. I just thought I was just living my life. But she says, you're not talking a lot. So what she did for me, she tricked me. She signed me up for Just the Funny, which is improv acting. And she says, we're going to Just the Funny. We're doing this as a couple. And then she left me behind. And that is the beginning of the journey of Orlando going into stand-up. I do the improv class. It was like someone flipped a switch inside of me. My teacher at the time said, hey, you have a gift for this, but I think it's more for stand-up. You're good at improv acting, but I think you might be a stand-up comic. And I was like, bet. And now I'm amped up. The light switch has been turned on. I called the Miami Improv. They said, hey, bring 5 friends and we'll give you 5 minutes on stage. And I brought 5 friends. I did 5 minutes at the Miami Improv. My life changed.
So, I visited LA and I was like, you know what, this is where I need to be. And I'm gonna make my own cartoon. I'm gonna start with a comic book and then I'm gonna turn it into an animated series. The moment that really pushed me forward to leave like a 9-to-5 job, I got really sick and they were just kind of like, okay, like they didn't really care. And I feel like I got really sick. I had to like go to the urgent care and like the hospital and all that stuff. It was pneumonia. So, and I didn't even know I had it for the longest. They were just like, well, you only have this much time off. And it's like, I was just replaceable. You know what I mean? I was a number. I don't know, I wasn't valued and I wasn't able to do my art. So why not go find somewhere where I can share my art with the world and be valued for what I do. That was the moment for me where I was like, I'm leaving and I'm doing what I want to do. Now I'm a full-time creative, so like having that like stability every week, that paycheck every week is very comfortable, but it wasn't fulfilling. I didn't mind giving that up. I mean, it was hard at first. It makes you work harder. because you don't want to be in a bad space financially. It also taught me to be more responsible, because now I have to like budget better, because you know, you might not get a check, you might not have people believing in you at first. You have to like really kind of fight for yourself, fight for like your art, and really just, you know, show people that you're him or her.
What comedy did for me, it opened me up to the world. I was going in, I wasn't talking, and it gave me that opportunity to go on stage and talk. It let me share my life. It let me share, I guess, the stuff that I was pushing down, I was able to now share it. Some way, somehow, I got blessed with the talent where I could talk about this stuff and also make it funny and people can relate to it. And then getting those laughs, there's no bigger payday than getting laughs. I would do it for free, not on purpose, but I would do it for free. So Miami has this beautiful thing where we can speak Spanglish. So I can slide in and out. Lock la puerta and cierra la window. You can talk like that and people get it. And then a comic by Steve Trevino said, man, you're funny, dude. But that Spanglish thing, you're losing people. And then I said, oh, thanks for the advice. Sure enough. Then I started like really expressing myself, just speaking English. And then it became this whole other world open, where it's not just my people, but also like black people, white people. And then this thing started evolving with me where now I can get out my message of who I am. I'm a little bit different. The fact that I can't dance, I'm Dominican and I can't dance. Do you understand how that hurts me in my community? Jesus.
The art form I chose is cartoons. I love animation, I love drawing, I love just creating. You can create your own world with whatever you want to do. You can literally create whatever you want. Like you think of, you can draw it, you can design it. I don't know, you can just imagine, whatever you imagine, you can just bring it to life on paper. That when I was younger, I used to do coloring books. My mother used to bring me home coloring books all the time, and I would color my characters brown, different shades of browns, even though they weren't. And I loved Marvel and DC, but it wasn't a lot of Black or Latino people in there. You know, when you play with your friends, you're like, oh, I'm this one, I'm that one, you know, but they're all white. So you always identify with one person that's may not be necessarily the Black person that you identify with, you know? I just wanted more options. So I decided to draw my own characters. I started doing that with my friends. I started like modeling them off by my friends, and I made like a series and everybody would read it every week, and it was just it became really popular. A little popular with my teachers too, that in a bad way, they would call home and like, Demetre's distracting people with his books. But it was like lighthearted, it was good. I wasn't, you know, I was really good in school, but everybody loved my comic books because they were in it, they were part of it, and they got to see what I created, and it was great. So I was like, let me just design my own characters and tell my own stories with my own culture. It started really taking off. People were supporting. And also for little kids like me that was younger, like now I want them to see themselves in these movies and cartoons as well. I want to see curls. I want to see like what braids look like, you know, locks. Also, just like our features, like, you know, we have like bigger lips and fuller lips and the cheekbones, we just look different. So I don't want to see like the European features on my brown cartoon characters. Things like that, like, you know, when the Proud Family came out, that was pretty iconic for me because they all look like me, you know?
I think my identity and my culture now are the focus for my music. Everything revolves around that. It's kind of like la semilla, the seed. And it's funny because I used to sing in like English at first, also like in French, in different languages. And somehow I feel like growing up I refused to speak Spanish or sing Spanish because I grew up in Italy and I had to fit in. Unconsciously, I kind of like, not that I rejected my roots, but I got farther and farther because I was trying to fit in Italy. And I found this song called Mechita, which is a Peruvian waltz. Silvia Perez Cruz sang that song. She has a version of it, and I found it and I was like, wow, I really love this song, and we rehearsed it. And that was the first time in so long that I actually sang in Spanish, and I got goosebumps. And the other boys were like, why do you never sing in Spanish? I was like, actually, I don't know. And there was something there that I needed to go research to find other things of myself. So that's when I realized that I needed to get closer to my roots and, to find out who I really was. And I think now that's my whole identity. And I found an answer to so many questions that I used to ask myself. Why am I like this? Why am I so different from everyone? Or like, why do I feel rhythm so much in my blood? My hair, I struggled with my hair when I was a kid because I wanted my hair straight like other people. There was so much, my skin complexion, there was so many things that I couldn't find an answer to. And I think once I started to dig in, went back to the art by myself and took the time to, spend time with my family and my culture, I was like, okay. Now we're home. This is it. Okay, we're good. And now I just sing in Spanish and write in Spanish because that's the easiest way for me to express myself.
My characters, I have 6 superheroes, and then I have like some villains. My top 3 characters, my first one will be the one that's myself, and I literally made him basically me, Black and Puerto Rican, curly-haired boy, and I love lightning bolts, I love the electricity. I've always loved that because it gives me like energy, like that's why I wear this on my ear. He's, of course, the main character of my comic book, because of course, who doesn't want to see themselves as a superhero? I also have one, Medusa. She's, of course, everybody knows Medusa, but I made her like very chocolate. She has locks that turn into snakes, which you don't really see often either. And she's also an anti-villain. So Medusa's looked at as like a bad character, but she actually has like a tragic story. So she's like one of my anti-villains. Not necessarily bad, but she has a good reason of why she's doing things, but she kind of goes about it in like not necessarily the best way. 2 of my main villains they're twins, and they are brother and sister. They don't have any powers. They like are techie, so they made like their suits, and they kind of take powers from the characters and like use them. So it's kind of like how people steal the culture and kind of like reuse it like that. That's what it's a nod at, basically. Like a fact that I need to like always tell myself is that I belong in these spaces. Even now out here, like I go to these like premieres, red carpets, and there's not a lot of people that look like me. I feel like I belong there because I do. I earned it. I deserve to be here just like everybody else. You always have to like just bet on yourself, because if you don't, people don't believe in you. So I always have to kind of walk in with this confidence, which I am confident. It's not an act, but you want to make sure you're confident, and there's like no plan B. Like it has to get done. That's just the way it is. My favorite time that I realized that I made the right decision to like pursue what I'm doing now is 2 years ago. I went to the Latinx comic book festival. They wanted me to set up. I was like, I don't have my comic book finished. It was like, oh no, like whatever you have, bring. So I had, bookmarks. I had like, I make, merch. But there were so many like kids and like even adults that were so interested in like what I had. They almost sold me out, and I didn't even have a comic book yet. That weekend was like very, very fulfilling, and it just let me know that I made the right decision and that it's a need for what I'm doing.
Choosing to migrate, and most of the time you don't have a choice. Like some people are like, oh, why did you choose to go to Italy when you were a kid? I didn't choose. My mom didn't choose. It was a train that passed, and she decided to jump in and to make this big sacrifice for me to be able to choose now, today. And so I chose to leave very far from my family, my roots, my friends, my community, because this is what really worked for me. I just wanted more, and so I decided to leave. But that comes with a big feeling of solitude, of loneliness. I think as an immigrant, you will always be an immigrant once you are one. There are still today, I'm missing a lot of good moments with my family, with my friends. I can see, they're growing, I'm growing, but in 2 different places. And also, I feel like it's hard to keep up with people's lives, and sometimes I feel like very absent in some of my friends' lives. And I think that's the loneliness that comes with it. I get to see beautiful places, work with beautiful people, and like experience incredible things, But sometimes you're not with the people that you would want to share that with. And that's like the little, yo lo llamo el ser medio feliz, You're like half happy. And I think sometimes growing up in a small-minded environment makes you think that you're not worth something or that you won't be able to achieve something, because it's like obviously reality, you know, it's like money, logistics, language. It's like I would never think that I would be here doing this. If you told YEIDRY when she was 15 in the countryside, outside the city, in El Campo, in Italy, oh, you're gonna live in this place and you're gonna sing and that's gonna be your life, I would have never believed you.
The first moment of confirmation for me has to be Florida's Funniest Comedian. I happened to win that. Right then and there, I just closed my eyes, cashed in my 401k, and moved to Los Angeles. That's what triggered, I can really do this. One of the hardest things that I had to overcome, it was actually stage performance. I speak slow, and a lot of people my whole life have been telling me, I think you're on the spectrum, but I never took the test because of life insurance policy. And also being able to talk about family, that's like really hard because we don't talk about family. We keep that, you know? The thing is that everybody's looking for that big thing, and it's all these little moments that stack up. So one day I end up on The Tonight Show, and I never even thought of being on The Tonight Show. So then getting an HBO special, Ida Rodriguez championing for me and being like, no, he needs to do 5 minutes in front of my special. All these little moments, all these little decisions, your friends talking about you in the rooms that you're not in. All this is a confirmation of this is why I made the leap. This is why I left the security of a house, a front yard, backyard, to a studio apartment in Hollywood, California.
When I did the Color show, it was a big deal for me because I used to find new artists on that platform. That, and then the first time my mom came to a show, that was like my own show. And right after the show, she told me like, oh, you're an animal on stage. I was like, yeah, what did you think? And she's like, it's crazy. The way you move through life is always like, oh, sorry here, sorry that, like very, you know, and on stage you're so like unapologetic. You're so powerful. And I loved that my mom could see me that way, you know. I think I'm already successful in my life, you know, like I'm chilling, I'm good. I feel loved and safe, and that's the most important thing, I think.
What inspires me now as an adult is little me. If I had somebody like me to look up to, that would be amazing. I love, for the little kids now, my nieces and nephews that love cartoons or that are growing up now, times are crazy. I want them to know that they matter and that their art matters and that they see themselves and their stories on TV and even in cartoons. Success to me looks like being a good example for my family and my community, also being financially stable for my family and community as well, and just kind of like paving the way for more people that look like me to be in these spaces and to make it like a thing. We're so talented and we kind of shape the culture. So I really want that to be my legacy that I leave for people coming behind me.
Everywhere that I go, I'm a vibe. I'm 528 hertz. I have tuning forks. I walk around in the grass barefooted. I'm that dude. And I can step into any situation, but there's situations where people don't want me to step into. And I accept it. I'm like, cool. And I just keep it moving. I sit here and I'm honest with you. I truly believe that I am blessed and highly favored. The people that have come around me have been strategically put around me. Not by me, by some divine force. Orlando Leyba from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. There was a time there where I used to shower out of buckets, and I've done the Tonight Show 5 times, thanks to Michael Cox being in my corner, Josh Sandoval, Edwin Licona, my wife, Vanessa Lozano, just these people. My mom being so supportive. This is a support system that I'm blessed to have, and I admire and I cherish it, and I give thanks for every day. Success means to me, what does success mean to me? It's so weird. That's a weird question for me. Interesting, confusing, because it keeps on evolving. Because success was, hey man, if I could make the same money that I make as a satellite engineer and tour and make people laugh, I'm successful. But then a few years ago, I hit the wall in San Francisco in a hotel by myself. Like, what am I doing? And whatever you believe in, divine intervention, I heard a voice and he goes, what are you complaining about? This is exactly what you asked for. And then once I kind of looked at my bank account, I was making the same money as a satellite engineer. I was touring the world and I was making people laugh. But then I got the second half of that message, you can ask for more. So success now means the life that I have now, but let's add that for the years that my mother has left on this world, that she's super comfortable and abundance. I want abundance. That's what I do. That's success, abundance. Abundance in love, health, financially, prosperity. Okay, yeah, that's success. Is that all gonna make it? I don't know.
One, two, 1, 2. Wherever you are, I need you to turn this up. Turn your volume up to 10 and play this loud. Preferably in a residential area. We can disturb the peace every once in a while. Let's go, go. We're back and we're bigger, it's banging and better than ever. My gift of gab will get it going, I'm setting the pressure. It's not for nothing, I'm a natural and never been fresher.